What's up? Welcome to your Self-Helpless snack, where we give you a little taste of the Self-Helpless podcast with a mini episode. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, you can find the full episode linked in this episode's description.
When we first got divorced and after the betrayal, like I knew I had to take care of myself first. Like that was my uh obligation, for lack
Yeah,
of a better word, to myself and to my daughter. Like I had to take
right.
care of me so that I could continue to take care of her. And so really focusing on that, like I was allowed to feel big feelings and hold those. And also I didn't have to share them with Steve. I didn't have to, because he took that on personally and I knew that. And so really navigating how I took care of my own emotions, I knew supported Steve. And sometimes he heard them, sometimes I was loud about it, but really coming back to the fact that also I know this wasn't intentionally to hurt me. I knew he didn't do this because of me. And I think that is most of the time the instances in betrayal, whether your husband's gay or not, or
Mm.
your partner is gay or not, is it's really not usually about you, but it's an unmet need in them. And you're not capable of meeting that need. And that's okay. And also the betrayal's not okay. So there's like this weird thing that happens. But I really latched onto that. I get to take care of myself first. I get to take care of my daughter. And then it allows things to fall into place with Steve in a way that felt good and that worked for us. We took a lot of space. There was a lot of time in very like set custody arrangements of like we need to respect this, to respect each other's time now, to rebuild trust in our relationship, and to be clear about that. And we took time to not share all of the things emotionally. There were times I'd be like, I would love to support you with this right now. I can't hear it. Like, this is
Yeah.
not okay for me to hear. And really just being vocal about that and seeming like, okay, like I can step back and vice versa of like, there are things we're not ready to share with each other and it's okay. Um, so I think just really, really tapping into that again, intuition of what does feel okay right now, what does not, how do I move forward in a way that feels right for me, and allowing there to be this idea of things don't have to look right now how I want them to look in a couple of years.
Mm.
So I want to be friends with Steve and support him. And also, I'm not emotionally okay. And so I can take space and things and realize that down the road, things might be able to shift and look different. We might be able to spend more time together. We might be able to, be together with our partners and enjoy time together. But maybe right now that feels hard and that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just so nuanced. It's not black and white. All these
Yeah.
things are existing at the same exact moment. What differences, if any, in your relationship that you all have together now, or even the process of healing from this, what do you think would have been different if he had had an affair with a woman, if anything?
I get asked this on a regular basis, and so does Matt, my current husband, because they're like, "Would
Right.
you be as loving and accepting of Jessica's relationship with Steve if he was still with women, or if he was, would that be
Right.
a bigger threat because or jealousy?" And Matt and I have both answered this kind of the same. First of all, we have no idea. Like,
Right. Right.
who knows?
It's all
And
speculation. Yeah.
also, yeah, all speculation. And also, I choose to believe that we would be able to navigate this very similarly.
Mm.
Like, again, betrayal isn't necessarily about the individual who's betrayed. And when we can detach from that, when we can see that differently, we can see like the good that's there. Steve is an amazing dad. Steve shows up for me in lots of ways and also can't show up for me in certain ways. And so when I can recognize the ways he can show up for me and the things that he does do, then it makes it a lot easier to be in partnership with him and community. And so I don't know. I did get to a point where because initially I said, if you are ever with another woman, I will be so pissed. Like I did carry that. So there's
Right.
that.
Right.
And also now I'm like, I do not care at all who you are with. Like I
Yeah.
could care less. I just want to know that you are doing what's right for you and that you are showing up for yourself first and then for our daughter in a way that feels good and genuine to you and your intuition. And so I mean, obviously I thought it would make a difference in that moment, that it would change how I felt. I don't know that it would, but again, it's all speculation. Who knows?
Right.
I do
Right.
know. the thoughts and feelings of betrayal are very similar no matter what you go on, and people get really mad at me when I use betrayal in the sense that Steve betrayed me in our relationship, and I'm like, "Okay, first of all, there was infidelity. He did things outside of the boundaries that we had
Right.
set for our marriage and our relationship, and also, by him not being true to himself, he's betraying himself and therefore me, and he will own that, like, people will be like, "Dude, Jessica just said you betrayed her," and he's like, "I did." He's
Yeah.
like, "It's okay she's using that word. It's a word we have such negative connotations to, but we betray ourselves all the time. And when we recognize that and learn from it, we get to show up better for ourselves and the people in our lives. And so betrayal comes in all forms. And when we are betraying ourselves, we are betraying the people closest to us. And
Mhm.
it's hard to accept that. We don't have to beat ourselves up for it though. It's just reality. And we get to learn and do better and figure out what works for us in the future.
So glad you tuned into Self-Helpless. If you felt supported by this or past episodes, there are a couple ways you can help the show. Feel free to share it with a friend who may enjoy the variety of discussions we have here. Also, you can become a monthly or annual supporter of the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/selfhelpless. That's where you can pitch and vote on topics, submit questions for special guests, or be a silent supporter and not participate in any of that. 100% of Patreon and merch proceeds go directly to operating expenses that not only keep the show going through thick and thin, but also keeps it accessible to all with minimal ads. If you want to show a little extra lovin', you can leave an Apple Podcast review or send an email to share how Self-Helpless has impacted you. All of this info and more goodies can be found at selfhelplesspodcast.com. All right, love you big time, and thank you so much.